All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the coin and welcome back to That's Life podcast. It's been a while, but my man Ryan is back again on Twitter. If you haven't followed him yet, please go to my profile. You'll see there is a particular tweet, and you'll get to click on his profile and you can follow. To all the OGs out there that have followed Ryan for a very, very long time, make sure you do that. He's back. So That's Life podcast is going to be up and rolling. Hopefully, post every game. We'll try our best because obviously Ryan's busy, I'm busy, but we'll try our best. So I'm very excited. Ryan, my man, welcome back to the channel. How you doing, bro?
Miss the other side of the coin. I missed you last time I
You
saw
missed me,
you.
bro. You missed me.
I missed you. Last time you were here in my home country, second home country in Toronto. We saw some real football before our eyes. We saw a real football team play excellent, Toronto FC. But
Oh
no,
yeah.
bro, honestly, so happy to be back. No Ryan Maresca this time. No, just at Ryan. Just so happy to be back as Carefree Tactics because
Nice.
honestly, through the ups and downs of Chelsea, I
Yeah.
just genuinely missed analyzing football, talking to you, dropping those threads. So just so happy to be
Yeah.
back on Twitter and hope you all could, you know, check out my profile,
Yes.
see if you enjoy the new threads, if I still have it. If I'm washed, you let me know in those in those
If he's
comments.
waffling, he's
Yeah,
waffling. Ryan's
if I'm
waffling.
waffling, like I low key miss all the heat too, all the stuff waffling and all
Sometimes
these
the
things.
hate
But
is what keeps people going. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So
but I know it. Just so just so happy to be back and so happy to be here because I know you say we always tell people we'll try our best to do it
yeah,
weekly and then we see them next
yeah,
2 months. But this time, honestly,
we will
I
try.
would
We will
love to
try.
do it every match, bro. Be here.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so let's get it.
100%, 100%, man. Like I think both of us, from a life perspective as well, are in a hopefully a settled situation. Me, it can be a bit chaotic at times with a young family and work, but we will try our best, ladies and gentlemen, to be here post every match and analyzing. And not just that, Ryan and I, we've been talking about how we want to create different type of content as well, and looking at other clubs, and looking at funny sort of tweets online, and giving our reactions on that. So we'll create other things as well. But today, ladies and gentlemen, a couple of things. First of all, smash the like button as soon as you come through. Smash the like button. This isn't a live show, just so people start typing all of that on the live chat. This is a pre-recorded show, which is quite late Toronto time in obviously in Canada,
Yeah.
and it's midday here in Sydney, Australia. So by the time you guys all see this, it's probably be around 9:30 a.m. UK. It'll be a premiere. So yeah, don't say on the comments, "Is this alive? Is this alive?" Why isn't he commenting that? It's not alive. It's not alive. But yeah, that's one thing. Second thing, please make sure you follow Ryan. I will leave the description for his Twitter. Sorry, the information of his Twitter handle in the
But Miz,
description. Yeah,
actually have like some news for you, bro. And
talk to me, bro.
it's new news because I only created it 10 minutes ago while you were eating.
What you do, bro?
So
Creating news, bro. That's what you're doing.
youtube.com/carefree tactics. You just never know what might be coming around the corner. So
Oh my
so
days! Breaking
so
news.
yeah,
Is
yeah. So
is it
while
is it
Miz was
a
eating, I said, you know what, bro? I'm so excited to talk to Miz. I might just want to be making videos on YouTube too
come
one
on,
day so I could
bro?
grow up to be like my hero Miz. So yeah.
But I'm not a hero. But is this a here we land? Can we say here we land?
I could say is a here we go confirmed. Welcome
By
guys,
the way,
Fabrizio Romano here on the channel. So here we go. So here we go.
by the way, there's this new phrase that's taken off recently. Here we land. This is a new thing. Here we land. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you follow Ryan on Twitter, and of course his YouTube channel looks like he might be starting to drop some videos. I cannot wait. More than you can believe. More than you can believe. All right, Ryan. Now that we have taken care of the pleasantries and everyone is nice and settled in the live chat, they're really wanting to get into the nitty gritty, the juicy part. Look, Ryan, me, honestly, after that result, I wasn't ranting. I wasn't shocked because deep down, and you don't even need to reach too deep down. Like maybe Nick, you don't need to go all the way down my pants either. Like not that deep.
Yo,
You know
yo,
what I mean?
yo.
Yo, calm it down, all right? Some kids are
Yo,
listening to
Miz.
this.
Gee, I was not
Like,
gonna
like,
say my prayers, sleep, and this is what you're gonna do to me, bro.
so just up to the neck onwards, I knew this match is could be potentially a bit of a mismatch. Yeah, after what I saw in the preseason as well, I always was a bit worried defensively, and
Yeah,
coming into this match and the scoreline at the end of the match kind of proved the point that for me it did seem like a bit of a mismatch. Yeah, there
yeah, yeah,
you can say that there were a few positives here and there which we'll touch on, but overall they're just levels above, and we've got a lot of things to work on which we'll touch base on.
yeah.
Without getting into the full details of it, is that how you kind of felt as well watching this match? Were you one of the fans moving into this particular match thinking Chelsea can do something, like
Yeah,
we can
Miz.
potentially get something?
Honestly, after preseason, I think I messaged you saying we might get relegated, and
You did.
so I would be a hypocrite if I come here and I say anything else. But honestly, I came into this like with a blank canvas.
Mm,
I really think preseason was about, getting the players fit, getting
mm.
um and I would say I'm a fan like everybody else. So with the transfer news coming in and stuff, I think
Yeah.
it lifted some of us
Well,
to
you're
be
you're
excited
buzzing for João Felix.
for
You're buzzing.
yeah.
You're absolutely buzzing.
So so coming into this game, I was just more excited to just start analyzing again.
Yeah.
So and I did not have any expectations as if to win or
Yeah.
what the score would be like, but my
Mm,
expectation was I want to observe what is our plan and how we execute. And if
yeah.
we fail, I still want to know that we tried to execute and we
Mm,
had a structure and a design on how we're going to try to win. And
yeah.
I came in here and I believe that I saw that. And that's why I
Nice.
can't wait to get into this video.
Nice. Brilliant. Look, obviously we don't want to. I've got some pressing things that I really need to talk to you about in regards to certain individuals, structure, so on and so forth. But I'm glad that you've also made some observations that look, there are certain things that we are trying to execute. We're not doing it at the best. However, the plan is there. And if we keep improving, it should get better and better. And the execution should be perfect by the end of the season. Well, near to perfect. Hold that thought for a second. Let's talk about some pressing information. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to demonstrate some of these stuff as well. We've got in the background your tactical analysis board ready. Um,
Yeah.
Ryan, the first thing I want to talk about, and this is a very hot topic on everyone's mouth, and I wanted to get this out of the way early so that everyone is, fixated into this discussion and they can give their 2 cents in on the comment section as well. That midfield. Well, I'm going to start things with midfield, and it might not be the ideal way to start things, but I want to start things off with midfield, and then we can talk about the attack, we can talk about the defense, goalkeeper, so on and so forth. That midfield for me, Ryan, I feel like, and I know I get it. It's Manchester United, Manchester City. Um, I was going to say Man United. It is Man City. They're the champions. The toughest opposition you can have in your first game. However, having said that, I still don't like the balance. I think that midfield will still struggle. I've watched quite a lot of games this weekend in the Premier League, and there is no easy game, Ryan. There is not going to be a single easy game in this particular league. Every team is so well drilled. Ryan, that midfield of Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Romeo Lavia, I feel like it's not a great balance. Romeo Lavia plays as the deepest midfielder, which I've got no issues with. He's very good technically. He's covers ground excellently. He was there several times protecting us, making key interceptions or making key tackles. Caicedo, this brother needs to. He's It seems like he's always slow to start the season. This was the same case last season. I need him to start performing at a high level from the get go. But my biggest concern, Ryan, is Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez, when Lavia was taken off and he came to deeper position, looked a little bit better. But Enzo Fernandez, from a physical standpoint, it's all good and nice if you're good on the ball, but off the ball is equally important in a possession-based team, which where we saw Kovacic dropping an absolute masterclass. How impactful he is off the ball. I mean, we all knew how amazing Kovacic is on the ball, but off the ball, the work rate he put on, I feel like that is the proper model for our midfielders to build our game. And I'm really concerned about Enzo where he's playing. When Lavia's deep, he's a little bit further up. Sometimes he's dropping
Yeah.
in, but off the ball, it's too easy to bypass him. And the amount of times the second ball
Yeah.
was there and Man City players were first to it. How do you feel about this midfield? What's your thoughts on Enzo Fernandez specifically?
Well, Ms. Firstly, I think that the three-man midfield today, it
Mm,
had a tactical reason, and I
mhm.
think that when I pull up the board in like 10 minutes, because I'm still setting it up,
Okay.
um, I will explain this to you in tactics, why I believe actually, and is what my thread is about to. So if you all, by the time you watch this, my thread will be out, is actually labeled the tactical reason why Enzo Fernandez pressed so high up in
Yes.
brackets and why it worked. And
Okay.
why it worked. Because I believe that there was a tactical reason for it that completely helped us from minute 20 to minute 70
Hmm. Hmm.
in getting enough chances. And I would say in that period of time, we were the better team there.
Mm,
Definitely didn't
mm,
deserve to lose. And with the chances we had, we should have at least had 1 to 2 goals.
mm.
But
Well,
in
Nicholas
the in
Jackson definitely,
yeah,
screwed a few as
and
well.
in the first 20 minutes, Miss, honestly, I think Chelsea was kind of didn't have the aggression and
Mm,
they lacked the courage. And then as one tackle, as Kukurea went into one tackle and won it, you start to see Fofana again confidence and going into 1 and 2 and 3 tackles. And
mm,
then you
mm.
saw Lavia going 1, 2, 3 tackles. And we started to get confidence after that 20-minute mark. In the
Yeah,
last 20 minutes now, I think we completely lost our legs. I think it was a fitness issue. We completely lost all the structure and organization that it took. And with the substitutions that came in, they just weren't like for like substitutions that could have
correct.
kept the tactics and intensity. So that's why I feel
Are,
that
are
we
you
dropped off.
surprised that some of the like, especially Enzo Fernandez, by the end of the game, he looked like he was absolutely knackered, man. He was panting. He wasn't able to
Yeah,
cover ground. Obviously, we saw the not injury for Cucurella, which was what do you call it? Cramps, which is understandable. He's only recently joined in,
that's
but
confirmed, right? That's confirmed,
yeah,
right?
I don't think it was injury. I'm pretty certain that
Yeah.
scam. I don't think it's like there's no news about it, so don't correct me. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Don't sort of quote me
Don't
on it.
correct me.
Don't correct me. Don't
Correct me, bro.
quote
I'm
me on
right.
it.
Yeah.
Definitely correct me. But that was too funny. Um, but the way Manchester City plays, they look like they were far more well drilled, like from a physical standpoint. Like, are you surprised that after all of these matches in the preseason, and I don't want to give an excuse that it's the first game, they're still, taking their
Yeah.
time. But look, there's no time in the Premier League, mate. Like, you don't come to the
Yeah.
Premier League to get fitness. Manchester City, and this is actually true, Ryan. I saw a stat I can't remember who posted this. Maybe it was Chelsea Dodgers. They ran 111 kilometers and we ran 104.
Yeah.
So does that surprise you? That why are we panting with 20 minutes to go?
You know, honestly, you bring up a good argument here. You bring up a very
Mm,
good argument. I think a lot of the players that were panting were the international players who played Euros or
yeah,
who played not Euros, but also like
Copa
you know,
America.
Copa America too.
Yeah,
It was those guys who really lost the intensity. So Cole Palmer couldn't even run in the end, really. He was more walking,
bro.
jog, panting.
Yeah.
So, and then you need to also argue that our coaching staff, how many preseasons have they really dealt with to know the
Mm,
intensity that they, because you would say Enzo Maresca dealt with a preseason with Leicester or whatever. But how
mm.
many of those players came from international duty, did not get a vacation,
I don't think
only
any.
have 1 week to get fit,
Yeah.
etc., etc. So it could go down to that lack of experience there with how to get these players up to mark. However, I
Mm,
would say I'm happy that he managed them well. And Kunku, he took off before any
mm.
little injury could happen. Kukurea came off.
Romeo
It was
Lavia as well.
managed well. Lavia
Yeah,
was, because how many times we see that there were the signs there that a player could possibly get injured. They overplayed in the first, second few matches. They're out until
correct.
December, January. So I'm glad to say we walked away with them managed a bit.
Do you know what, Ryan? A lot of people got very upset when Romeo Lavia was taken off. Even I was, when I was watching the match, I was like, wow, Lavia was probably the best. And forget about midfielder; he was our best player in that game. And a lot of us got annoyed. But then I sort of thought about it, and I'm like, this is a player that hasn't played a single minute last season. Well, played like 10, 20 minutes ago, injured again. So
Yeah,
I could understand why he was taken off, maybe from a precautionary standpoint, that
yeah,
is not played enough football. I don't want to, drag him all the way to 90th minute in a high intensity game as well against Manchester City. Similarly for Nkunku as well, hasn't played enough football, and we just want to slowly build them up. So I get that. I'm interested to now see in your tactical board what you talked about, Enzo Fernandez pressing from the front, which I absolutely saw that. I'm pretty sure everyone saw, and this is why a lot of people are saying, "What's he doing so high up?"
yeah.
Because he was pressing from the
Um,
front. But I also want to hear from you in the sense that I feel like, besides Romeo Lavia, Manchester City just found it way too easy to just go through our midfield at times as well. Um, Especially Kovacic's goal, which, as you probably have said just a moment ago, that um, one of the reason being is the players just collapsed with 20 minutes to go, and Kovacic
yeah.
just ran past all of them. But do you want me to bring up the
No, but
tactical board?
this I would need like a couple minutes because I don't know, the app kind of like, you know, kind of being a bit dodgy now with the
Mm,
setting it up there. But I want to ask you an interesting question while I just set this up here, right?
talk to me, bro.
What is your understanding of what
Mm,
happened with our midfield? Because a lot of people say it's 4-3-3, then it ended up being a 4-2-3-1.
mm,
Then it didn't look as if our midfield three stayed compact and stayed deep. We saw
correct.
Enzo roaming forward. We saw Caicedo having a more free role to launch those passes. We saw
Hmm, hmm,
Lavia more being that original DM.
mm.
What is your thoughts? But we also see players like Cole Palmer playing deeper and Kunku playing deeper and wider.
Yes,
What is
yes.
your thoughts of what happened? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? And what do you just feel about this plan going into this game?
Excellent, excellent, man. Look, the way I saw the match was Romeo Lavia, definitely the deepest player. And the player closest to him, and this is, I'm talking about on the ball, and even off the ball, to be honest, is Caicedo. Enzo Fernandez was probably a couple of yards a little bit further up, but on the ball he would drop in at times and help out with the build up. But off the ball, he was very high up and trying to press from the front, along with Nicholas Jackson, and so on and so forth. So what I didn't like about that midfield, and you're right, there were times where Cole Palmer dropped in and Kunku dropped in. They had to, because um, City, from a structural standpoint, defensively was they're so well drilled. You can't just have Nkunku just be up front. There's got to be time where they got to come in. Cole Palmer's got to come in. But what I really didn't like about that midfield was that I felt where Enzo played. I think I'm quite satisfied with what Romeo Lavia was doing all throughout the match. Even then, there were areas where it looked like he was the only one, and it was sometimes isolated. Um, but that's not on him. But I'm just saying overall in midfield, Caicedo obviously very erratic in jumping into tackles. But even then, I don't mind the combination of Romeo Lavia and Caicedo sort of staying close by, both
Yeah,
technically very good. But it's Enzo. It's Enzo's spot where I feel like you want him to press up front, and then you want to, and then when he does win the ball up front, he's in advanced position. He's not really playing deeper up until when Romeo Lavia was taken off. I'd rather have
yeah,
Keenan Dewsbury Hall there. I'd rather have a player
yeah.
like his
I understand that.
attributes to
I
operate in
understand
that
that.
area. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. No, I completely understand that. It's like you don't mind the tactics of it. You more rather edit the qualities of the personnel in that
The
position.
personnel,
That's
yes, it's the personnel.
okay. All right, bro. Well, let me just show you what I was thinking and what I observed. You can pull up the board now. All right, cool. Nice. So we don't have blue here, so white is Man City and dark blue is us. So what we
Nice.
could see is that it's Chelsea 4-2-3-1 and it has Man City 3-2-4-1, right?
Mm,
So initially what you could see in this kind of like setup here, the midfield is completely overloaded in that
yeah.
little circle there. And this, if you follow my mouse in that circle there, it's
Yep.
completely overloaded. There's basically City's 5 or 6 midfielders and our 5 midfielders.
Yep.
So in essence, their play has to be built not centrally, but from wide areas. So how did Man City go on to do that? Man City did it using a kind of a staggered approach. So you know how I go about my tactical board, it's very unorthodox, but they use a staggered approach as such. I'll show you. If you noticed with Man City's DM, this guy here,
Mm.
whoever his name is, alongside Kovacic, basically played like a right back. He basically played like a right back. Is because they use a staggered 3-3-3-1 kind of
Was that
approach
Rico
when
Lewis?
building their
Yeah, that
play.
was Rico Lewis. Rico
Yeah,
Lewis.
yeah, probably, right?
Yeah,
So they
because he
use a
dropped in
kind
as a
of,
right back.
yeah. So if I just pull out my little like little line here, you would see that
Mm.
it's basically 3-3 and then a 3 and a
Mm.
1, right? So I call it like a staggered approach. Why do teams use a staggered approach? One, so they could create this wide overload
A
here. They
wide
could
overload.
overload one
Yep.
side of the pitch. And two, they use it staggered so they could create width to switch play if needed. That's simply
Mm.
why they use a staggered
Is that
approach.
why Doku
And
was available so
a
free
lot,
so many
a lot.
times? Yeah.
So free, so free. So, Miss, this is where it gets a little bit spicy, and I
Mhm.
want you to see if I am talking rubbish or if you did see these things too. So, how we dealt with this is that we dealt with this staggered 3-3-1 by doing one main important thing,
Mm.
right? We had our attacking midfielder Enzo press forward
Yes.
in a kind of central area, right?
Mm.
Where it spreaded our striker to a bit of a wider position,
Yep.
and it allowed our left mid, or if it's happening the other side of the pitch, whichever mid is closer to the ball to come forward to,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
But
Mm.
one main thing to really take note of here is why isn't this guy pressing? The other midfielder on the
Mm.
other side. So
Cole
it was
Palmer,
Cole Palmer
basically. Yeah.
here, but
Yeah.
on sometimes it would be Nkunku also, depending on what side you attack from, right? But
Correct.
I think
Correct.
Man City mostly built play from this side, so I'm gonna explain from here, right?
Yep.
So
Agreed.
one thing you could notice here, right, is that all of a sudden, let me just bring back out my little drawings here. Try to
Hmm.
get yellow in. But one thing you notice here, in Man City's first line of progression, which is this line here,
Hmm.
we have them man to man. We have them man to man. We cut in passing lanes. We have them man to man, right?
Yep.
Perfect. Is that
Yes.
clear?
Perfect. Yep.
Okay. So that's one thing. We have the first line covered perfectly. And now for the second line, which is uh here, right?
Mm-hmm.
We see Kukurea press up. We see our two DMs hit them here. And all of
Hmm.
a sudden, we kind of have them 3 versus 2 in that circle there.
Yep.
3
Yep.
versus 2 in midfield
Yep.
here.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, now in that first line, we have
We have the
them
man to
where
man,
man to man, and that
and then
second
we've got
line, we
them.
outnumber them
Yep.
3 versus 2. So no matter how much these two people roam here, we're going to have them, right?
Mm.
The
Mm.
whole idea, and I'm talking about from minute 20 to 70. The
Mm.
whole idea here, right, is that when these Man City players try to progress play,
Hmm.
right, when they try to progress play into these areas, is for us to be super aggressive and win that ball,
Mm.
right? We're
Mm.
gonna win that ball, and when we win that ball, is the more the important thing to note is this free man right here. This
Hmm.
free man right here is the reason why Enzo is pressing as a striker. Why? And these knobs are kind of big, so you're not really seeing these spaces as good as you would. But I want you to think about us winning it in this mid wide overload here. We're winning it, and we every time we win that ball, we lay it off to that
Yeah.
free man. And it
Yes.
is so important, Miz, that Enzo came up and pressed here. Why? Because you want your free man here to be someone who could drive the ball with the dribbling, with speed, or
Mm.
pass
So basically,
really
we want to
well.
give Cole Palmer the license to really go out when we're with the ball. We want this guy to have the
Yeah,
ball as quickly
yeah,
as possible. The issue
yeah.
was
But
he dropped a stinker, so that's
no,
a
no.
separate
But
issue.
he was not only not that, but Miss, do you recognize that most of the chances that we get in that minute 20 to 45 is that
Mm.
we won the ball here, laid it off to our free man, and Nkunku making that wide run into big space.
Yeah, yeah.
That was where we were hitting them
Hmm.
really good, hitting them really good because of that little tactical space that opened there. And we stuck to this plan. We stuck to that press. We stuck to getting it to our free man here. And at its best, how it worked out is that when Cole Palmer get back that ball, right?
Hmm.
What we'd see is that then Gusto would start to overlap. Then Enzo would drop back into the tight pockets. Then Jackson would run in behind.
Mm.
Then Nkunku would run in behind. All of a sudden, this free man here has some options. We saw many times that the ball would go in behind for Gusto to put in passes. We saw that long ball to Nkunku. And we
Mm.
actually saw Enzo doing quite decent on the turn in the pockets as a 10
Mm.
would do. He would link up play. Not only that, but also with this little our attacking players going forward, we kind of had this attacking midfielder 2v1 here.
Yeah.
So these two DMs provided support for our free man, and that's why you saw Caicedo and Lavia getting the ability to play those forward passes in.
Hmm.
And why I was kind of felt positive about this is that from if you just rewatch the match from minute 20 to 65, every time we won the ball from City in that overload I showed you, and we
Hmm.
got it to our two DMs and this free man here, our
Hmm.
team on the get-go. We didn't. Everybody thought Maresca is possession football, sideways, 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 sideways until you get a breakthrough. No.
Yeah.
As soon as we won that ball, in behind, long ball, spread of
Mm.
play, in behind to Jackson, into Enzo's feet. And we did that over and over where we had about 3 chances to score. We
Mm.
should have
There
been
was a lot of long
2-1
balls, that's for
before.
sure. There was a lot of long
A
balls.
lot,
Yeah.
a lot, and
Even from the
we
goalkeeper as well. He was trying to go long.
yeah, and that's why we caught them. We got them into certain positions. We sucked them in, and we created spaces to get them in behind. And these
Mm,
spaces would have been shown way better if the knobs weren't so big. But on that pitch, we were getting those spaces, especially for Nkunku and Malagusto, to get into
mm,
some really good positions. And then, obviously, when they get there, we're going to fill up the edge of the box and we're going to get those little chances to get shots. And unfortunately, we had so much chances and we
mm.
just did not put them away. We should have won this match. We should have won this match. Not lose, not draw. We should have
L-
won.
Let's now talk about this because there is a group of people within the fan base that's actually coming out and saying that was a lot better than the 4-4 that we had against Manchester City last season. This is a game that we probably didn't deserve to lose, at least a draw. And you're saying we should have won. There were some chances. I'm not going to lie. We had some chances. I remember Cole Palmer was inside the box. He drifted from the right side and then linked up with a couple of players and then found himself into the box. And it was just taken away. Nicholas Jackson, obviously, there was one that offside chance, but there was another one where, close range header straight to the goalkeeper. Um, and there were other bits and pieces of chances. Enzo Fernandez inside the box. Um,
Yeah.
where do you look? It looks like the structure is there. Yeah, it looks like from your demonstration the structure is there, and this is what I've been saying. We have to be patient with Enzo Maresca. We must be patient. We can't be chopping and changing. We finally got a manager that I feel, and as you've demonstrated, has the tactical know-how to get us to play, better football, and hopefully that can produce good results. But where do you feel in this structure, in this setup, who's letting you down? Is it individuals? Is it just a matter of let's just stay be patient? Are
Okay.
there certain concerns in here where you're like, it's a good structure, but some of the players are not being able to carry it out properly?
Yeah. So I think, listen, I think what really excited me about Enzo is that he said that Enzo Maresca, that is not,
Mhm.
I'm not going to be
Imagine.
quoting Enzo Fernandez before I get in
Imagine
trouble, but
that.
Enzo Maresca, um, what he really excited me with that we're gonna prepare for the structure of the opposition team.
Mm,
So
mm.
this here is not uh
You're not going
the
to deploy this
structure
against
of
Wolves,
I'm not gonna
basically.
destroy this, no.
Yeah.
But what I could see is that we were well prepared and we
Mm.
stuck to our plan. We
Yep.
stuck to our plan. And I would say that let me start with the negatives so I can end with the positives, right?
Okay. Fair enough.
I think in our first 20 minutes, I tried to describe what possibly happened, but let me just show it one more time. Remember that 3 versus 2 advantage I showed you right here?
Yep.
Right here?
Yep.
I think that early on in the game, right?
Mm.
These 3 players here, Kukurea, our 2 DMs, our center backs, they were kind of scared. You know, they were kind of timid. So
Nervous, maybe.
the
Yeah.
structure was there,
Mm.
but we were not closing them down fast enough. We were not closing down the passing lanes, so the ball was getting through in between the lines. We were not closing down aggressively the attacking midfielders, so we saw plays in between the lines into Haaland,
Yep.
and eventually that's how the goal scored. Because they
Mm.
got to play between the lines, the structure was there. I watched back this match twice. The
Mm.
structure was there, but we just in that 15 minutes we didn't have the aggression or the courage. And then soon after, all it took for us was one tackle by Kukurea, two by Fofana, one by Lavia, and we started to get where we started to actually work within the structure. We had the
Yeah.
structure in the first 20, we didn't work within it. So what let me down is that Chelsea's a kind of team where for the first 10 minutes, we're a team that lost so much in the past 2 years that we scared, especially against top
Right.
four teams.
Yeah.
Right? And what disappointed me in the last 20 minutes we talked about was the fitness of the players, but
Mm.
also the substitutions were not like for like, so we didn't get to keep the same tactics,
Right.
if that
Right.
makes
No.
sense.
No.
It was not
Absolutely makes
like for
sense.
like.
No,
So
absolutely makes sense.
I think that what really disappointed me, but let me go on to the positives now,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that so much time under Tuchel, right? Miss, we would say that we had the structure, but that pass get into Mount in the pockets and he couldn't turn or control
Mm,
it properly. He
mm,
lost it in the pockets. Or Havertz lost it on the turn too weak, couldn't hold up the
mm,
ball, this and that. What I saw today was that from Colwell to Lavia, Lavia received the ball like a pro,
mm.
like a
Yeah.
one of a kind young talent DM. How we got away from a press from the best team in England, right?
Mm.
I
Yeah.
saw passes from Caicedo. We always think Enzo is the pass guy, but Caicedo playing those vertical passes, playing those diagonal passes. That is
Yeah.
something that we didn't have in midfield. The bravery from midfielders. Sometimes Jorginho would do too much short passes. Kofa wouldn't have the ability to go along like that. We
Mm.
saw it. And Kunku, one on one, even his touches, his turns, this and that. It wasn't the best we will see from him, but we could see that the ability there. It
Mm.
just needs
Mm.
some more confidence, some more repetition. Cole Palmer was Cole Palmer. Um, Jackson, I think he was the only one that let me down.
Mm.
But when we took him off, we did worse because he's the best we have in the position. So
Right.
it goes to show
Exactly.
if your best player in your position, we need a goal, right?
Yeah.
And your best striker, you have to take him off at the 60th, 65th minute, right? What does that say about your best striker? It says that we need to replace him because if you can't keep your best striker on to win
Yes.
a match, then he's not
You're in big
the
trouble.
striker we need,
Yeah. He's
right?
not the striker we
So
need. Yeah.
I think what disappointed me is that I feel like all the other players have high quality.
Mm.
Colwell,
Mm.
Fofana, everybody. The
Mm.
only person there who does not have the highest quality and we need to replace is Jackson, and that's the only one disappointment I have in this game. If it was a top striker or above average striker, we would have won today with 3 points.
Yeah. No. Look, he was, you know, responsible for some absolute gilt edged chances. I do want to spice things up a little bit. I want to get where your thoughts are. You okay if I just take the board away for a little bit? We can come back
Hmm.
to it if we need to.
Yeah, sure.
Um, Jeremy Doku.
Yeah,
Obviously, we've touched base on Enzo Fernandez, and from a tactical point, yeah, fair enough. He's done what he needed to, but I still feel like the personnel, which I touched base on, that we could have some different personnel there, and I'm pretty sure we're going to circle back into this point. And the reason why I'm bringing up the conversation of Jeremy Doku, right? For me, not only he's electric on the ball and on the in the 1v1 situation, um, he gave us a lot of pain. Malagusa did his level best, but there were times that he was absolutely done. It was a goal that came from Doku's end as well, where he kind of cuts in and finds that threaded pass in between the two defenders, and then really disrupted that structure. And then obviously Haaland comes in, scores. But it's his work rate, Ryan. Jeremy Doku, the not only he's such a fantastic attacker, but when he doesn't have the ball, the amount of times I saw him run back and recover and give that extra body for his, fullback Vario. I'm concerned that Nkunku and Cole Palmer, as good as they are on the ball, they're fantastic, no problems. Obviously, this game, first game, still a little bit iffy. I'm sure they'll get better and better, but one of the key factors in the Premier League, and I don't know whether you agree or not with me, you can be tactically sound, but
yeah,
if you don't have that work rate, Ryan, we're gonna
okay,
get done, man. Like if
yeah,
Nkunku and Palmer are not putting a shift off the ball,
yeah.
we're really gonna struggle.
So I would say this one, Doku played as a sort of wing back. So he
Yeah.
had to go back up and down that flank like a Victor Moses. He had to go
Mm,
because he played wing back and it was needed of him in defense.
mm.
I would say that Nkunku and Palmer, um, if I showed you in that board in the press, you don't need to bring it up back if you don't want to, but
I
yeah,
got it.
in
Yeah.
that board with the press, right? Let me just control these guys here. But if you showed it, like, um, the main purpose of this front three here in the press was not to close down. It was not to close down because what we wanted City to do is to take the risk of playing the pass, right? Take
So
the
that
risk.
others can
And
close.
remember what we say, Miss, we always say that it is not about only winning the ball, it's about where you want to win the ball.
Right.
And today, Chelsea, if Chelsea won the ball here, they would have nobody else to pass it to. Chelsea
Right.
wanted to win the ball here so they could go to
There.
Cole Palmer,
And then
overlap with Gusto,
have the runners up
attack with
front.
Nkunku.
Yeah.
This is what they wanted to do. So these guys here, they were there to be bodies to cut passing lanes
Mm,
and
mm, mm,
place a bit of uneasiness to the
mm.
centre backs, right? Um, Nkunku, we didn't want him at all, or whoever it is, if it
Mm.
was the other direction. Always remember this is symmetrical, so it happens in the other direction too. But
Yeah.
we didn't want him coming back. Why? Because eventually, when we win that ball, we needed him here. It's
Interesting.
about three or
Interesting.
four times. There was 3 or 4 times and Kunku got the ball here and
Yeah.
was wide for a reason.
Yeah.
We took their back three, City back three, and we stretched it as much as we could. And the kind of ball control and Kunku and those guys have on the first touch, on long balls, the speed, the 1v1 ability, I love
Mm.
them here, right?
Yeah.
Um, Cole Palmer. We don't want Cole Palmer running around like a headless chicken here, there, because
Mm.
we need him to be the free man. Because if he comes here, then that left midfielder Doku is on him.
Yeah.
So we want him to be not the marked man, we want him to be the free man,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So he had to stay there. What I was disappointed in is that the players around in that first 20 minutes did not have the courage. It's not that they're lazy, it's not that this and that. They didn't have the courage, they were scared. And I think in that last 20 minutes, what let me down is the fitness. I don't
Yeah.
think it's will, I don't think it's bad attitude. I think these guys really have the talent and will, and they want to win. And with the
Mm.
right tactics and guidance and push, they will. And you know what? We look like a team today. We look like a team.
Mm.
We
Mm.
look
Mm.
like we look like a team, and we look like everybody was going towards a certain plan, and
Yeah.
that we had a great idea of what we wanted to hurt City with, and we almost did. And I know how you said 1v1 Doku was cooking us a bit on that side, right?
Mm. And even
But
Savio on the right side before he was taken off.
but I think when you're playing against a team like City, is it's going to be natural that we get beat 1v1. Two
Mm.
out of the 5 times. But that other 3 times, I saw us putting in hard tackles. I was so
Yeah. Yeah.
happy with Fofana today. Fofana today looked like the Fofana we bought last year.
Out of the two CBs, he was the better one.
Yeah,
Even though I feel
Fofana.
he could have done a little bit better for the first goal, but Levi Colwell is the one where
Yeah,
that lapse of concentration, the awareness needs to be better. But you're right. The way Fofana was on the case anytime
yeah,
one of the City players got the ball at the edge of that
yeah.
half, he was on the case.
And I think that our boys, man, they just need to build on this
Mm.
mentally too, because I was telling myself that I would take a draw because it would
Same.
give us momentum mentally that we want to be
Yes.
fearless. We want to go in for that tackle. I think I saw Fofana went into attack on Haaland unnecessarily, probably nearly got a
Yeah,
yellow
yeah, yeah,
card.
yeah. He ended up
And
getting, I think he got a yellow card for that.
I love this because that shows me a confident player. You go
Yeah.
for the biggest center forward it has in world football, size and ability, and you
Mm,
rush into him and you knock him down. And
mm.
that's what I want to see from our team. And I think today we look like a team that trained on what we wanted to do. Many times I think people said Pochettino didn't have a tactical plan and that they didn't do tactics in training that much. And I used to watch Pochettino and I felt like I couldn't get I didn't write threads because I didn't have anything to write about.
Yeah.
I didn't know what we wanted to do. And so many times we would play that midfield three under Pochettino and all three would be deep and we would
Yeah.
have no way to get out. because none of those three midfielders are runners or passers. And I feel like today with our midfield three, I kind of feared that we're gonna
Yeah.
sit back, and I didn't know how we are gonna attack. And today I was kind of pleasantly surprised how we unlocked City defense. City did not look better than us today. I do not think they look
Mhm.
better than us today. And if they did, not by far.
Look, the only thing I felt City was just a bit above and beyond for us was, and you've touched on it, it's that fitness level. Like
Yeah,
they were relentless. Like they pressed well as a unit, and they, for me, they just showed a lot more hunger whenever there was a second ball in that midfield area. Whenever there was an
yeah, yeah,
opportunity for us to win, it was always them that's winning it. It's always Kovacic or Rico Lewis, and maybe that's down to fitness as well, Ryan. That they were always aggressive and winning it. And as you've already mentioned as well, the first 20 minutes, it looked like we were a bit jittery. After that, you're right. By the time the first half finished, potentially could have been 1-1. It really should have been 1-1. We should have scored one
yeah.
back,
Or two.
um, or
They should
two.
have.
City definitely had their chances. Well, Haaland had a second chance, I remember, where it fell for him in the second half, and he should have done better to score that. Um, but yeah, look, to a certain level, I understand where people are coming from in the sense that it's not all bad. And I've never said it was all bad. After the match, I never said it was all bad. I was just disappointed at certain individual performances, and I feel these players need to, moving forward, got to put full effort. Fitness. I mean, Ryan, is this a surprise to you that 20 minutes to go we were all tired, and of course the like for like, well, the not like for like substitutions didn't help. But do you think fitness is something that we can all of a sudden have back by next weekend against Wolves?
I think it was a bit disappointing and surprising because I think tactically for us it wasn't um, a match where we went into a low block and then had to go up attacking and then back to a low block. It was definitely in the same saturated part of the field that we
Mm.
didn't have to cover as much distance back and forth in the field. So
Yeah.
it was quite disappointing that in the 70-minute mark, not even 70 minutes, like 60, 65, we were done.
Mm.
We were done, not structurally, but just legs were
Yeah,
done.
legs are gone. Yeah.
And like about four people got cramp or five people, like it did not look good. So it's something that could fix. It'll get better and better every week. I
Mm.
think that, but I would say that losing is a habit and getting points is a habit,
Yeah.
and we just need to win. And I think that I was happy today with our. I was really scared watching preseason because I was like, there's no defensive plan here. Our
Yeah.
midfield is too high up. We're getting done out in between the pockets, in behind. I told you we're going to get relegated. We're going to get relegated. And today it made me believe that Enzo has one or two tricks up his sleeve tactically. I
Yeah.
told you this 2 months ago. People gonna was expecting tiki taka Spanish football from Enzo, and I told you this, Miz. Enzo is gonna come and defend man marking because he's an Italian.
Mm.
He's gonna come man marking. He's gonna win the ball and he's gonna get in behind. And that's exactly what we did today. Our defensive style is not a German press. It's not an
Yeah.
English press, right? It's not Spanish tiki taka. I
Mm.
think if you want to learn about how Chelsea could look as a team, I think Maresca has a very Italian style to him. There's going to be a lot of man marking. It might not look as a heavy German press, but we're going to win
Mm.
the ball in deeper areas. We're going to play
And then,
vertical football.
yeah,
We're going to
and
get
then
in
try and
behind.
get in behind quick.
Yeah, I feel like today we played kind of like a unfit Inter Milan who won the
Yeah.
Scudetto. Unfit Inter Milan. But
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
that makes sense, but imagine us as we need to get it into the routine of our players to into machines, into machines, into machines. And I do believe we have the ability to get there. I want to ask you a question though,
Talk
because
to me. Talk to me.
I don't
Yeah.
want to repeat myself too much, but
Mm.
João Felix is coming.
I was just going to bring this topic. Yeah.
Neto.
Yes. Yes.
Neto look good, really good for our first little match, little
Yeah.
showing, but look promising.
Yeah.
Look more fit than the rest of our team.
Looked a lot more fit, and he was more interested to do the work. He was interested to
Yeah.
recover, drop back, which what you're saying is probably not needed all the time, because we do
Yeah.
want to be able to unleash him on the left side.
Yeah, but my thing is that with the plethora of forwards we're gonna have, say we get a striker in to compete with Jackson, right?
Mhm.
We cannot drop Lavia.
Yeah.
We cannot drop Caicedo. Enzo is loved by our board. He's our vice captain, and I am a big fan of him as a footballer.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of him as well, but
But
we need
that
we need
three-man
more.
midfield, that three-man midfield is very good, but our team is designed for more than two attacking players with the striker, if that makes sense.
That does
So
make
we
sense.
are with the amount of with our squad depth doesn't facilitate a three-man midfield because if Lavia or Caicedo gets injured, who's going to be at the end?
We don't have one.
Exactly. And if Enzo, like, so you see, we already see that if anybody gets injured in midfield, we can't replace them. If anybody gets injured as a forward, we could, because
Yeah.
our team is built towards having a 4-2-3-1, or let's just say having four players forward, right?
Correct. Correct.
So it goes it begs the question. I think Lavia is undroppable after that game. You can't drop him.
You can't drop this guy. Lavia is undroppable for several reasons. I was always a little bit not skeptical, but I had a bit of doubt, like how good is he actually on the ball? He's superb on the ball. Um,
Yeah,
you know, I thought he's someone who can be more of a number 8, someone who can play a little bit further up. But I think from a deep point, like he moves the ball very quick. He passes.
yeah, and
He's not stupid. He knows where to.
he retains possession under pressure
Hundred
very well.
percent, 100%. So this is why I'm like, I could potentially use a different profile where Enzo is right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, you put up a very good question about, well, what about João Felix now? How do we fit him into the whole structure of things? One thing I could potentially think of is, as opposed to Enzo in that area, we could potentially use an Nkunku there, maybe. Could it possibly be a João Felix? Similar in the pockets? I feel like that third man in midfield could be one of them. And then out wide, where Nkunku was, someone like a Pedro Neto. If we
Yeah,
don't end up getting a striker, we could potentially utilize either or Nkunku or João Felix up there. So potentially both of
yeah,
them playing. But if we do end up getting an Osimhen, then obviously that's a clear, you put Osimhen there and Nicholas Jackson can sit down. But do you kind of agree that Enzo role there, as you've just said, Romeo Lavia is undroppable. Caicedo can be very good on the ball, off the ball as well. But obviously right now he's just going through that erratic, sense at the moment. But you feel that Enzo role that can be given to the likes of Nkunku or João Felix, and don't forget Keenan Dewsbury Hall as well.
is honestly, I would hate to make this decision because I love Enzo as a player, and Lavia really impressed me this match, and Caicedo is undroppable for
Yeah.
me for what he brings.
Mhm.
So, but I would say that it's not, do you think we should, is that it has to happen because we just don't have squad depth in midfield.
Yeah.
And like
Right. So
we
what you're
don't have
saying is we can't
midfield.
just keep playing these three because we don't have any
Yeah,
other
because
midfielders.
it has to happen. It
Mm.
has to happen. So I think that it's healthy competition,
Yeah.
and we have a lot of games. We have European football this week, so to look forward to. Then we have our next match weekend. So I think that it's healthy competition, and it's
He's
good.
the club
It,
captain, at the moment, Ryan. So I don't know how easy it is going to be to drop him. I mean, could Enzo potentially play where Lavia is playing, and that would mean Lavia drops off, and we've just said he's undroppable. I mean, how
well,
detrimental
still
would
possibly.
that be?
I think you could have done that if we had two generals as CBs, but I think
Bang on,
Lavia gives that extra protection to
bang on.
especially Colwell, who is lacking right now.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
you're saying if we had like a Eda Militao, Rudiger-esque type of defenders,
yeah,
or a Virgil van Dijk, because do
yeah,
you know what, Ryan? I don't know if you saw Liverpool versus Ipswich, and I know it's Ipswich. And this is not Manchester City, right? But
yeah,
the man at time, Virgil van Dijk, is just the stature. Because Liverpool really, they didn't have a midfield. They don't have a defensive midfielder. They play with McAllister, Szoboszlai, and Gavenberch.
yeah.
But the amount of time Virgil van Dijk just like a
Aura.
aura.
No, no.
No, I'm being serious. Like just there, imposing figure. We just don't have that. You just know if either one of Levi Colwell or Wesley Fofana was that imposing figure in defense who can not just cover the defensive line but step in as a defensive midfielder if they need to, then you could potentially accommodate someone like Enzo Fernandez a little bit deeper and not have one of Caicedo or Romeo Lavia.
Yeah,
Would you agree?
I think so. I think that honestly, when you play a register like CDM, you
Mm.
need to have that, but not only stat you to like attack like Rudiger, like attack as in like
Mm.
defend and pound somebody, but like a Thiago Silva to watch
Yeah,
and to
yeah,
make
yeah.
sure that we're not caught out. And then also you can't have Kukurea being a madman too,
Mm.
because you need to have him looking out too. For a lot of things have to be under control when you have a register. And that's
Correct,
exactly
correct.
why under Jorginho, some people said that Jorginho limited us because of how much had to be under control to have
Mm.
him play between our centre backs, you know? And I
Correct.
think it's the same thing here, that I don't think we have the facilities and centre backs to do that. I think Lavia brings us
Mm.
extra protection with Caicedo. So if we
Yeah,
have to drop one, we would have to drop Enzo, but we just get into this conundrum that he's our captain.
yeah.
And yeah, it'll be an interesting one. I would say this though. Let me ask you a question here now.
Mm. Mm.
We see Enzo talking in the media.
Yeah.
Maresca. So I need to always say Maresca. We see Enzo Maresca talking in the media,
Yeah.
right? About Sterling, and he wants to keep all the players, but he can't
Yeah.
keep all. He could only keep this amount, and or like Chuku needs to play 25 games. He's not gonna get to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, do you think that Enzo Maresca is getting to make these decisions, or are these decisions being made and he's
Mm.
communicating them? Because if the person who is dropped from that midfield three, because somebody has to be dropped, is either they
Correct.
willingly be dropped or they calf muscle pull and they have to be dropped, because no
Yeah.
way these three could play every game, right?
Yep.
We don't
Yep.
have the squad that.
Yep.
Who is going to make that decision? Is it going to be coach or
Woo!
board? Because
What
board
a
will
question.
say that we have our Enzo boy that we had 12 dinners with Benfica with. We
Yeah,
paid
we
for
fought
12
with Rui
barbecues.
Costa.
We got the here we go at from Fabrizio at like
The iconic
nighttime.
Titanic
Yeah.
music in the background.
Yeah. We fought for this guy. He's our club captain now, and we need to keep him here, Enzo Maresca. I'm sorry, but this
Mm.
is a club decision. This is best for the club, not just for the team. You have to find ways to tactically make this work now.
Whew.
Or Enzo would say that, listen, we need Lavia here because Colwell looks like he's gonna run for Love Island, and then that he doesn't look like Statya and defender,
Yeah,
and we need to have that defensive ability there, and we need
yeah.
to drop Enzo.
And it was
Who do
clear
you
to
think
see
is
the amount of
better?
times Romeo Lavia helped Colwell intercept, tackle key areas.
Yeah. So who do you think is going to make that call?
Oh wow! Do you know what?
Breaking news.
No,
You
breaking
know who's
news
gonna make
indeed.
the call, bro. You know who's gonna make the call, bro. You don't need to think.
Baghdad Egbali, come on down.
Yeah, yeah,
Look, do you know what? I like to think from the press conferences that we've seen and the way Enzo Maresca has handled a lot of the questions, even in regards to Raheem Sterling, which I found it quite mad that there was a statement like the brother had, which they've said that it wasn't a statement done for this situation. It was actually a statement or it was an interview or something like that that was done a few days back. But so conveniently, Mail has dropped it right before when he was dropped from the team. Um, and the way Enzo Maresca talked about that situation, I like to think that he's in charge, or at least he's in charge as a collaboration with the hierarchies. I don't think it's just a straight up you can't play them or he must be played. I feel like he does put his input and say X, Y, Z. But at the same time, I'm like, Raheem Sterling is dropped. No problems. I've got no issues about that.
yeah,
Raheem Sterling seems like he's surplus to requirements. But Mudrik is in the bench. If anything, Mudrik's probably an even worse of a player. So that's when I'm a little bit confused as to is it really Maresca's call or is this club call? Because I still don't understand why Mudrik was bought. Mudrik didn't even feature in this match. And whenever he does feature, he doesn't look that great. Um,
yeah,
so there is that confusion. Enzo Fernandez, I don't know. Does Maresca believe in the back of his mind that know that midfield three is perfect? That's how I'm going to roll, even though we don't have depth to cover for all of those three midfielders. That's how I'm going
yeah,
to roll.
yeah,
Or is he in the back of his mind thinking that trio is not, doesn't really bring the right balance?
yeah. Let me ask you something then, sir.
So
I think
basically, to,
we
to
beat
to answer your question before we move on to the next one is, I'm unsure, man. I'm unsure. I don't think he has all the power.
Yeah, I think I want to ask you this, right? I think we're beating around the bush here, right?
Mm,
Enzo Fernandez, golden boy for the World Cup, uh,
mm,
a talent where we said that this is going to be one of our midfielders for the next 8 to 10 years.
mm.
He's a unique talent with the passes. He could play those Fabregas as passes, but also defensively. He has that rugged Argentine kind of style,
Yep. Yep.
and mannerisms and pitbull nature to him, right?
Mm,
And when we now got him, it seems like there's no way we could create a midfield three without him or a midfield two without him,
mm,
right?
mm,
In this day and age in Chelsea, we're trying to say that in a midfield three, there's a possibility that we should think about replacing Enzo in it. And in a midfield two, there's a possibility we should think about not having him in it. So in both types of midfields. So how
mm,
did it get from that to this? And let me just ask you it straight. In
mm.
this day and age today, August 19th,
Mhm.
what does Enzo Fernandez lack that could not have him in Chelsea's best starting 11, in your opinion?
The biggest thing that he lacks is, I feel, sometimes is not the mobility, like his athleticism, the lack of athleticism. You look at someone like Romeo Lavia, Ryan. Do you think he lacks anything compared to Enzo Fernandez? Is there any part of Romeo Lavia's game that you'll think, oh, he doesn't have that of Enzo Fernandez? Can you name a single area that you say, yeah,
Besides passing, and I'm talking about specific types of passes,
yeah,
because Lavia is an excellent passer too, but
yeah,
specific pinpoint Fabregas passes,
yeah,
I think there's not much that you could do to.
that you can pin Romeo Lavia?
Mhm.
However, now if you want to ask the reverse question to Enzo Fernandez, does Enzo Fernandez lack certain attributes that perhaps Romeo Lavia has? And I'm pretty sure your answer is categorically going to
That's
be
a good
yes.
one. Yeah. I think they need us in the boardroom in that meeting, bro. Like, both of us have a good way of like wiggling around, just saying that Enzo Fernandez is not, maybe not the perfect type of midfielder.
Well, this is what I'm going to say.
But
This is what I want to say, right?
you know what? I
Go
wanna
on.
just pop full stop on this though.
Okay.
Does this show he's not the perfect type of midfielder given the defenders we have? And maybe it points towards another problem. Maybe it's not Enzo Fernandez's problem. Maybe the real problem is the defenders that we have.
Now, this is what I was going to get to. That was my point. Do you remember when Kovacic was our player, Ryan?
I do, bro. I cry about it every night.
Do you remember when Kovacic was getting slandered at Chelsea Football Club?
Yeah, you used to do it every video.
Don't tell them that, bro. Now, you see him now at Manchester City
Yeah,
and the masterclass he dropped.
yep.
Look at the
Classic.
players around him. Look at the defenders he has. Look at the
Yep.
fullbacks he has. Look at the attacking players he has in and around him. This same Kovacic had issues when he was here, and the same Kovacic doesn't seem to have any issues at Manchester City. Similar thing, I kid you not, will happen to Enzo Fernandez if Enzo Fernandez was at Manchester City as opposed to Enzo Fernandez at Chelsea Football Club. You bring Kovacic back to Chelsea and you swap Enzo there. Watch how Enzo drops masterclasses over there. You know why? My feeling is, look, I'm not shying away one bit that there are flaws in Enzo's game, and I think we've pretty much covered that. Both Ryan and I, we've kind of given the live chat and the viewers an impression that there is flaws. He's not the perfect midfielder in this squad. But that's the issue. The squad building wasn't built around Enzo Fernandez, I feel. The players that our hierarchies, our owners have ended up getting are just willy-nilly random players, and they didn't really deep it. When they got someone like Enzo Fernandez, and I guess it doesn't help when you have so many different types of managers as well along the way. Poch plays in a one way, Potter plays in one way, now Maresca's playing in a different way. All of that doesn't help. But not a single person in the hierarchy has stood firm that, okay, we've got Enzo Fernandez, we've secured him, we've fought tooth and nail to
No.
get this guy. By the way, I just heard my echo, and that scared the living daylights out of me from your end.
Oh, sorry.
We've just fought tooth and nail for Enzo Fernandez. And then we also got Romeo Lavia. Then we also got Caicedo. Then we don't get bosses in defense. We got defenders that are a little bit flimsy, that are not fully, that rock solid type of defenders. So it begs the question, why did you fight tooth and nail to get him? What was the thought process around it? Did anyone actually analyze what Enzo Fernandez can give us? Like, did people actually think Enzo Fernandez is going to be some level of an athlete in midfield? Because under Graham Potter, Enzo Fernandez was just fine. He looked really good. But at that point, we had genuine 3 CBs, wing back football from Graham Potter. It was different, right?
Yeah.
Kovacic was there in and out in midfield as well. It was different setup. Didn't anyone think before building this squad how we actually building this squad? Because it looks strange that we brought in someone like Kani Chukwuemeka, for instance, right? And that guy's out of favor.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
does that kind of answer what I'm trying to say in regards to Enzo? Like, did we actually think to build a team around him, or did we just feel like fear of missing out? We need this guy. He just won the World Cup, young player of the World Cup. Is that what kind of happened here? And we just didn't think, because right now it feels like, Ryan, I wouldn't be one bit upset if Enzo was to be put to the bench and someone like Joao Felix or an Nkunku or Keenan Dewsbury Hall played in that role, along with Romeo Lavia and Caicedo. Like, would that upset you one bit?
No. No. It would not. I think I think one thing to really think about here too, I think you bring up a really, really good point, is that think about the money we've spent on defenders,
Mm,
right? It's not like we bought cheap defenders for 20 million pounds, this and that. We
mm,
spent hundreds of millions of pounds on our
yeah,
defensive line,
yeah.
right? From Kukurea to Fofana to
Buddy Shield,
Disasi to
Desasi.
Shield to all
Yeah.
these guys. Because I think Disasi and Shield, all these guys are around 40, no?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
they're
40.
all around 35 to 40, some maybe just a bit more than 40. Kukurea was
Exactly.
60 himself,
60. Fofana was around like 70.
75 or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And we spent so much money. And I think that it's hard that we could get all the puzzles, like all the pieces to the puzzle this season.
Mm,
But Miss, if we get Osimhen
hmm
and well, we're gonna get Felix, I'll say we're damn close to getting that puzzle. Because
mm,
I think if we get those two players, it wouldn't be this summer that we could get that last piece, but that last Infinity Stone is a true center back
Centre
to
back.
to join Colwell or Fofana, a true, like, it doesn't need to be a leader or like a 50-year-old or 29-year-old, 28-year-old, but a true
Mm. A boss man, bro.
world class,
We don't have
world
a
class,
Saliba, basically. We don't have a
yeah,
Saliba.
yeah, a world class defender. And it, I think that we reach a kind of point, Miss, that remember under Tuchel, right? Like we had
Mm,
so much mid players, right?
yeah.
That we used to kind of not know where to pinpoint what's wrong.
Mm,
So half the fan base would be like, oh, we need a DM. The other half would be like, we need fullbacks. The other half would
mm,
be like, we need strikers or attacking midfielders.
yeah.
I think today it was clear that we have so much quality on the pitch. The only one thing that was missing was a striker.
Yes. Yes.
And that goes to show how good the rest of the piece of the puzzle was, because we did bad talk the board a lot. But we
Mm,
need to remember Lavia was out whole season,
mm,
and Kunku was out all season.
yes.
Reece James was out for his usual 3/4 of the season. So
Yeah.
we didn't get to see the pieces of the puzzle combined. Fofana was out for a whole season.
Whole
We didn't
season.
get
Yeah.
to see all the pieces. So it kind of reflected really horrible on the board.
Mm,
And Kukurea was in and out team, confidence, this and that, personal issues.
mm,
But I feel like so far, which is not a lot because it's just 90 minutes, but
yeah.
like we see pieces that we have a fit in Kunku, we have a fit Lavia, we have a fit Kukurea, we have a fit
Mm,
Fofana. We have Neto and Felix to add on to Nkunku and Cole Palmer and this and that. We have
Mm,
a good midfield trio with Enzo. We have Caicedo. We have our DM and Lavia. We have passers who could pass between the lines. We have
mm,
1v1 players in between the lines players. All
mm.
that's going to miss after this summer window, and we're going to see it
PSCB.
abundantly clear. Two
Yeah.
things we will miss. One is that kind of centre back, and two, a goalkeeper.
Yes. Yeah. How do we forget about the goalkeeper?
But it
Yes. Spot on.
yeah, so I say that if we could actually imagine the whole Chelsea fan base could agree that, that means it goes to show that the other pieces of the puzzle are there and we're not
Yeah.
far off. We're not far off. I'm not going to be toxic positivity, but I'm just
Yes.
saying that if our team could keep fit,
Mm.
Miz, if our team cannot keep fit, I'm gonna pull up that chat from WhatsApp with you saying that we're gonna get relegated because we might as well be. Like if Nkunku gets injured again and Kukure and Fofana and Lavi and these guys, it could
Mm.
be a horrendous season. But if we could keep 90% of our players fit throughout the season, I
Mm.
think that we're in for we could fight for top four, man. If we get a striker, we could fight for top four.
I've already said it. If we end up getting Jean Felix, which looks imminent, to be honest, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's almost done and dusted. And if we end up getting Osimhen somehow, there should be no more excuses. I know it's a new manager and this, that, the other, but the quality in itself should push you to top four.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up. Ryan, as always, it's been a fantastic conversation in the
Yep.
chat. Let us know any points that you agree, disagree, that you found interesting. You want to comment? Please let us know. Both Ryan and I will have a look at the comments as well, and we'll try and respond as much as we can, and maybe we might even do our next podcast and go through some of your comments and probably use the first 10-15 minutes to reply to some of your comments. um, Ryan, ending it on a positive note, it is the
Yeah.
first game. It is the first game, and it is against the reigning consecutive four-time champions. Like,
Yeah.
we need to deep the fact that that team has had their manager for, I think this is their eighth season now,
Yeah.
under Pep Guardiola, and we're a team that has a lot of new players and under the new manager. Yet
About 8 week under Enzo Maresca.
for 8 weeks, so we can. I don't want to say let's just brush aside. No, not about brushing aside. It's about let's learn from it. Go to that Conference League game against Servette from Swiss. I hope I pronounced that right. Truly take care of them midweek, and then really look forward to that Wolves game where let's get a win. Let's start getting a win and let's build that momentum for this season. Of course, it's going to be difficult here and there. Understood. But it looks like it's not all doom and gloom as yet. Would you agree?
Yo, you're so like unintentionally funny. Um, you're like, let's end on a positive. I thought you were gonna say something so nice. It's like it's not all doom and gloom, yeah. That's like how hurt you've been by Chelsea this past 3 years.
I'm,
Your
I'm so
your
I'm a damaged good, bro. I'm a damaged good.
your your positive bullet point was it's not all doom and gloom yet. A big fat yes in the end. You know what?
I can't be toxic positive, bro. I just
Yeah,
can't.
yeah. You know what? I can't disagree. I can't end it on a better note than that. It's not all doom and gloom. I would say this. Um, my whole thing with the next few matches is obviously wins,
Yeah.
wins, 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 wins. But
Mhm, mhm.
my biggest, lens how I view matches
Mm,
is there a plan and are we doing
mm.
our best to
You
fulfill
you
that
just
plan?
don't like seeing the team without a plan and just running headlessly. Do you know what I mean?
No, no, and I think that we have a manager that is we're going to give us that game plan to get in there and try to
Mm,
win. Because let me tell you, I think honestly, I don't want to take up too much time, just 10 seconds again, but
No,
I
go
think
on,
that
bro.
Man City did not take Pep Guardiola did not tear apart Enzo Maresca 2-0.
Hmm. Hmm.
It was moments in fitness, maybe moments in
Yeah.
quality
Quality.
1v1,
Yep.
this and that, lapses of concentration that happened.
It
But
wasn't
when
a
I
tactical masterclass
yeah,
from Pep that undid us. Yeah.
yeah, when I see and the sort of mistakes that we made during preseason, it
Hmm.
was 90% corrected. The other 10% we conceded 2 goals.
Yeah.
But I think that I feel that this is a good start from a long-term point of view. You know that sometimes
Mm-mm.
like you win and you know you played rubbish and you got away and you're gonna
Yeah.
lose
Man
next week.
United. Classic.
Yeah, yeah. But I felt like I hate losing. You know, I always say 3 points, 3 points, 3 points is all I
Yes.
care about. But I
Yes.
could see that we're working towards something here, and let's end the transfer season with a couple more signings, and
Yeah.
let's go and pummel through this team Thursday, like
Mm.
beat them so
Yeah.
bad that
Man, palm them.
honestly, let's just beat them so bad that I don't know. I can't even get a good
They
analogy.
didn't. They don't show up for the second. They don't show up
That,
for the second leg.
that's how bad I want to beat them. I don't even have an analogy for it, right? And then we go on to the weekend. So that's the best thing I could hope for.
Excellent, excellent. This has been great. Honestly, great therapy. And I hope the people in the live chat has found some level of semblance, some level of peace of mind. Look, it's going to be
Peace
topsy
of mind.
turvy, no doubts. But Ryan and I are going to be here. Well, hopefully, we're going to be here after every match. And we shall see how our mood is as well as the season progresses, as we come across new challenges. It'll be interesting to document how we feel as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, smash the like button, comment, because Ryan and I will probably look back on this video and look at some of the comments before starting the next one.
Yeah.
And yeah, we keep this interaction going. Make sure you follow Ryan on Twitter and give it a big retweet and a like when he drops that thread this morning, UK time, 10 a.m. Make sure each and every one of you guys do that. I'll have his handle on the description as well. And yeah, subscribe. We're very close to 35,000, so let's get there. I feel like we've been in the 30s for too long now. We got to get to that 40,000. We must get to that
Yeah, yeah.
40,000. And hopefully Ryan kicks things off in his YouTube channel as well. And good things to come, man. Good things to come. Ryan,
Good things.
like
Good.
always, pleasure to have you. And
Yeah,
I
bro.
shall see you
Love
very,
you,
very
bro.
soon, man.
Yeah, man. For sure. For sure.
Take care, brother. See
Yeah,
ya.
man.